Let's go through an updated photocard collection video, shall we? So, hello. I know that this video is a lot later than I had planned. I had said that I was going to do this at the end of January, but then I had a lot of photocards that were still showing up for my collections, and so I decided to wait until that officially slowed down. I am only now waiting on one trade to come in, so I figured this would be the best time to do it, if any. Also, it is finally staying light out longer. So when I first had recorded this video, I noticed that the sun was going down and the video lighting was just bad, so I waited to redo it until I had a free day. An update from the last video to now is that I had started a part-time job, and as of yesterday, I finally was offered a full-time job, so that will also impact the amount of videos that will be coming out, as well as I can finally buy albums again and not feel guilty about it. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So to preface, within the time that I had last made and uploaded a video to now, I have redone some of the binders. I have switched out who is in what binder. I have put idols in other binders. I have stopped collecting idols. I have started collecting idols. So we are going to go through an updated binder video, essentially. So the first one that stayed relatively the same is my Stray Kids binder. So if you are new and haven't watched any of my videos before, my ultimate group is Stray Kids. I love them very dearly, and you can kind of see how my collection grows. I started off with primarily just collecting Han and Felix. For the previous eras, it was a lot easier to just collect the two members when I could. And so I started to actually photocard collect in January of 2020. That was the time I got my very first K-pop album, which was a Stray Kids album. So up until Levanter era, I just collected Han and Felix, but then starting in Go Live was when I also decided to collect Lino. I wanted to start collecting Lino because he had risen on my bias list pretty exponentially, if I might add. He very much so captivated my heart, and so I decided that from Go Live, I would start to collect him fully as well. Primarily for like photo cards, so like big things like this fold out I didn't really feel the need to get, but yeah. And also, it was in this era that I started to collect OT8 sets. So this was a pre-order set that you got, but I decided to keep them all. And these were the like flipbook cards that I cut down to Monsta X card size, so that way they would fit in the binder, because I liked how they looked in an 8 pocket versus in a 4, because they were so awkwardly bulky. And also for the posters, I did collect all the members because I couldn't just leave out Chan and Changbin. I would feel very bad, so I just decided to collect them all. And here we have another OT8 set. That was a pre-order gift. And another OT8 set because this is when I started to collect actual album OT8 sets, since with the albums that I did buy and the amount of inclusions that I got in them, it was doable for me to get OT8 sets. Then we have the signed postcards. I have Hyunjin and IN for the Xdinary postcards. And then here we get into the mini posters. I am just missing Changbin's mini poster. It's almost impossible to find larger inclusions for pretty much any group, so that's why I haven't found it. And then Maxident era was right after the Stray Kids tour, I believe, and that is when IN became a bias for me, so I decided to start collecting IN from Maxident forward. Which, with the amount of inclusions that they have, doing 4 member patterns for Stray Kids was pretty easy because there wasn't like an awkward amount of inclusions, you know? And then yes, for Maxident was when I also collected OT8 for the envelopes that they did because, again, I had enough inclusions to do so. But yeah, collecting the mini posters for this era was easy because this is when more of my IRL friends got into Stray Kids, so that was nice. And then I had to collect OT8 for the close-ups because they are so cute. I saw this Hyunjin and I was immediately smitten. I had to collect an OT8 set for it. And then we have pre-order page, so this is Target as well as Apple Music. And then again, I am missing Lino's big postcard mini poster, and that is it. And then we move into the most recent era with Rockstar. I am still missing these 2, however, they are on the way to me in a trade, so yeah. With the headliner version, I only got 1 and I pulled IN, so I'm still missing the other 3. I haven't bought any of the photo cards since, with not having a job. And then for the mini posters this era, I only collected Han since the mini posters were only in the limited version and I only got 2 of them. So Han is in there because I pulled him. And then we move on to the Japanese photo cards. Most of these are up for trade. These ones specifically are up for trade to other Han because I am collecting Han more fully, if you can't tell by the more recent Japanese eras. And then I have other merch or OT8 things. So that was from the Season's Greetings. This is from the tour DVD that they released. And then from the Maniac tour DVD. And I have the backdoor inclusions here because they decide they don't like being in a pocket. So yeah, that is it for the Stray Kids binder. In terms of changes to this binder, the only change that was made is that I removed Xdinary Heroes from this binder because it is fairly thick with just Stray Kids, and Xdinary Heroes have been doing a lot recently, so I decided that they should move to a different binder. The next binder in my collection has Ateez. Ateez is another group for me that is one of my favorites. Oop, I see that there's a glare on Yeosang. So for Ateez, I do collect 3 members. I collect Yeosang, Seonghwa, and Wooyoung. For Ateez, it was a lot easier to go back to previous eras because when I decided to start collecting Wooyoung, the older albums were still in print, not as platforms, but as actual albums. So finding his cards wasn't too hard to do. The hardest one was the anniversary edition because obviously, like, that was such a limited print that there was no way that I could find it for a reasonable price without, you know, spending an arm and a leg. And then we move into the Fever series. Now, Fever is where I did collect OT8 or OT7 of the pre-order benefits from K-Town For You. So as you can see, this one, there's only 7 because Mingi wasn't in this comeback. But yeah, I had seen that they added more photo cards for Ateez, and so I bought more copies of albums. So I would usually buy 6 and then would get 6 pre-order benefits. So I would buy the last 2 benefits that I needed, whoever I didn't pull. So yeah, the Fever series is where they got a lot more photo cards. It's a lot harder to find trades for. These 2 I actually bought like a year after the album dropped because I just couldn't find them anywhere. This was going for insanely expensive. And then we go into the Movement series. Honestly, I think Movement was probably my favorite era that Ateez have ever done, simply because I love the more rock aspects of it. And then, as you can see, I still have an OT8 set, but these aren't necessarily pre-order benefits. These were the Hello 82 exclusive cards. So if you bought any US album, they would have a Hello 82 card with it. So most of mine I got from Target, and so it was easy for me to collect an OT8 set for that. And I collected OT8 set of the blanket cards because you were guaranteed a blanket card in both versions of the Polka album. And then I have a pre-order benefit page for Ateez. I usually do this now moving forward of just having a pre-order benefit page of my biases before moving on to the other album in this series. Which the unit cards took a lot to complete, and I am actually still missing a card in this collection. Missing two, actually. It's these two digipacks. This one is the actual digipack card. This is the digipack Target card. So I'm still missing those. But, you know, if I ever find them, then that would be fantastic. But if not, we'll just make do, I guess. And then this is where they started to do the, like, platform album, which I'm not too mad about given the amount of cards that you got. And also it was pretty easy to, like, buy in bulk of, like, people just selling the platform albums as a full member set. That's how I ended up getting the last of my Seonghwa cards. And then I'm still missing the Digipacks mini poster for Yeosang and Wooyoung, unfortunately. No one seemed to have been trading for them. And we go into the most recent era, which I haven't done too bad with, if I might add. This one, I'm not sure what other pre-order benefit I want for here. This is the Digipack card. This is the K-Town for You round 2. I don't know what I want to put here yet. And then we move into the platform, which I only bought one platform. I didn't buy multiple like I usually do. So that's why it's lacking. And then all of these stickers. I decided to collect the stickers because it was decently easy to trade them and they are photocard sized. So then we move into my OT8 sets. I have 3. And one of them is not complete, and that is the Target one. I am still missing Mingi. I have not been able to find Mingi whatsoever in a trade, and I think the time to trade has long gone now. But I'm still going to be looking for the postcards too, because I still want to collect the postcards. And then we move into Yeosang's Japanese collection, which the older albums is what I need to work on. But moving forward, I'm not doing too shabby in, especially since I've been using proxy sites from Mercari Japan a lot more. That's definitely helped a lot. And then these are just like special page collections that I have for all my boys. This is my holo page. And this is from the Ateez perfume, which I still have. It smells amazing. And then the sub-case sets. And I have a little placeholder here for Mingi because he wasn't in any of these, unfortunately, but he will stay there. And these are for the photo book. So these are from the tour DVDs. This is from their treasure map photo book. I'm missing the other one, so I have a place there for it. Then the OT Youth photo book, which came with a full member set. And then postcards from their tour. So yeah, I keep generally all of my OT8 merch sets or just OT sets in the back because that's probably the best place for them since I would collect full members. I wouldn't sell off any of them. So yeah, that is it for the Ateez binder. The biggest change here is that I removed Xikers from this binder because just like with Stray Kids, the Ateez binder is pretty thick, so I decided that Xikers should get a new home as well. The third binder was most famously known as my Oneus binder. This is where I would keep only my Oneus cards, but as you will see, I have moved some groups in here as well. But first off is Oneus. So I collect 3 members for Oneus. I collect Soho, Ito, and Hwanwoong. I originally collected only Soho and Hwanwoong, so as you can see, I am missing some Ito photo cards, but I have been trying my darndest to find them so I can fully complete his collection. I actually started to collect Ito pretty early. I started to collect him in Lived era, so as you can see from Lived on is where I have his sets for the most part finished until, you know, most recent eras where I'm trying to finish all of their sets. But I decided to collect him in Lived because it was pretty easy, I found, to buy and trade for Oneus. It seemed like there were a lot of group order managers that were doing claims for Oneus or were selling extra photo cards that no one had claimed, so with the amount of fan signs that Oneus does, it's definitely not hard to find cards. And I have these 2 Xi'an here because I had actually pulled these cards from my signed Oneus album, and I decided to keep them there because, you know, why not? So yeah, Oneus is a pretty easy collection, I might add. It's fairly easy to collect them, which is why I do love collecting them so thoroughly. Most of my groups I do like to collect all inclusions for. If there are any of my like absolute favorite groups, then I try to collect everything that I can. If they're smaller groups, then I don't really try to finish them as much. But with bigger inclusions, it's not too hard to find at least people selling them. Maybe not on like some platforms, but others it's pretty easy. Or if you just kind of know and follow group order managers that post claims, that's usually the best way to go moving forward. And then my favorite story about Malice is that I believe it's this set. Yeah, this set I had ordered from KPop USA Online, and for every album you purchased, you would get 2 photo cards. And I had purchased enough albums, including their digipacks, to get 4 full member sets. And because I had ordered member-specific Soho, Ito, Hwanwoong, they made sure to give me their full sets of Apple Music cards, and I sold off the other set. So I have just a full page of Apple Music pre-order, and I love it. I love it. But yeah, Malice is where I fall short for bigger inclusions for sure, which kind of is up to me. It's not that I don't find them anywhere, but it's that I am not actively searching for the bigger inclusions. I'm more so searching for trades for photo cards. So yeah, same thing for Pygmalion. I need to do better about some of the bigger inclusions. At least I have all the circle cards, so that's nice. And they have like a little pretty hollow to them. This page sucks in terms of turning because the cards like to slide out. And then we move into the most recent with La Dolce Vita. I am slacking hardcore on La Dolce Vita for sure, which it's their most recent comeback, and it was the most recent comeback that they had also before I lost my job, so I had to put collecting them on hold for now. And then I move into the tour cards. I did go to both of the tours that they've had. This was also just a cute little freebie page that I had. I had traded with someone, or I had bought something from someone, and they included like a full set of like Christmas cards. So that was cool. And then I have my OneWe page because you can't separate Oneus and OneWe. You just can't. So like I mentioned previously, I had to move Xdinary Heroes out of the Stray Kids binder. So I decided to collab them with the Oneus binder. So this is the start of my Xdinary Heroes collection. I collect 3 members for them as well. I collect Ode, who is one of my old biases, Junhan, and Gunal. Hello World has been really tricky because trying to find cards for Hello World, specific cards for Hello World, is pretty hard to do. I was able to find the last couple of Gunal things that I needed relatively quickly when looking on Mercari Japan, so that was nice. And then here are some group cards and the pre-order cards that I got from Hello 82 since I ordered through there for their signed albums. Yeah, there was no way that I wasn't gonna like Xdinary Heroes when I heard them come out. I love rock alternative music, like I said with Ateez, and so I was obviously going to love Xdinary Heroes. So yeah, as you can see for them, I try to collect everything in full as well if I can. And then we move into the latest comeback for Live Lock. I did only end up buying 1 set of albums, so I only bought 1 of each version of the photo books and 1 of each version of the digipacks, so that's why this collection's a little bit lacking as well, but for the most part I have everything traded, besides the group units they did for this time. And then I have the full set of the light stick photo cards because I do have their light stick. Now I also said I moved Xikers, and this is where I moved them to. I figured it would be best to also keep them with Xdinary Heroes being the baby brother group to my other alt group, and I pretty much love Xikers and Xdinary Heroes the same amount, so putting them together just seemed the most right in my brain. For Xikers, I also collect 3 members. I collect Hunter, Sumin, and Jinshik. They are my top 3, though where they rank in the bias rank tends to move a lot. This was the original ranking. I might end up moving them to just be age order. I don't know. We'll see as time goes on. But for them, it was easy enough to at least trade what I had for them, because I do have a lot of friends that are IRL that like Xikers as well and buy their albums too. And this is the full member for their, I think it was the Nemo album. So I also have a full member for, oh, I don't remember what the other name of it was. But then I had put my top 3 all together since there are 11 members of Xikers. You can't make a 9-member spread, so I just put them like this with a pre-order benefit, different pre-order benefits. Plus these are merch cards. And then we move into their second album. I'm still missing this Jinshik. I have not been able to either find a trade for it. I found it on sale a few times, but haven't made the jump to buy it. I am missing this Sumin, and I don't think I will ever find it, unfortunately. And then I don't know if I want to get another pre-order benefit set for here, so that's why that's still blank. But yeah, I know that Xikers is having a comeback, and I'm hoping that I can at least finish with the album cards and whatnot before their comeback. I probably would be able to. They're not too hard to collect. And then I have their group Polaroids in here that my friend gifted to me. So yeah, that is the end of this binder. There were a lot of changes to this binder in terms of adding groups to it. I am probably going to have to move a group out of here within the next couple of comebacks because this is pretty full, but we will see if and when that happens. If you can't tell, the next binder that I have is my NCT and Wavy binder. This one is pretty thick. She has no more room to grow, unfortunately. I do collect all of the current active groups of NCT. I will not be collecting NCT Wish. I think how SM handled NCT Wish was really bad, and I more so have a vendetta against SM than I do the boys of NCT Wish. No bad wishes onto them, but I will not be standing or collecting NCT Wish. So the only groups that are going to be in here and will ever be in here are going to be NCT U, that's what I start off with, as well as NCT 127, NCT Dream, and Wavy. They're probably going to move, but in terms of actual like content that I have, those are the groups I will be collecting. So for NCT as a whole, I have 8 biases. They are not all going to be reflected in NCT U because the number of the members in the group changes as NCT U goes on. So we're just going to go through them one by one. So with Empathy, NCT 2018, there were 7 members that I collected. The most notable one is 10 because none of my biases in Wavy were active in 2018, so I decided to collect 10 instead. So I do have the full sets for them there. Then we move into NCT 2020, and for NCT 2020, I collected 8 members. I am missing Jaemin's because trying to find Jaemin's has been really hard, but this gives a good rundown as to who I collect in NCT. So for 127, I collect Johnny, Yuta, and Jungwoo. For NCT Dream, I collect Jisung and Jaemin more recently. For Wavy, I collect Xiaojun and Hendery, and then when Sungchan was in the group, I collected him as well. In my previous video, I had this set up very differently. I had them set up by member rather than by card type, but I decided I liked how this looked better, as well as I was able to save a full page to just take out of my binder to remove some of the bulk because it's a pretty bulky binder. So yeah, that was what my collection was moving forward until NCT 2023 with Golden Age. Golden Age definitely shook that up for sure, which I'm still working on, as you will see, because it is still new, and I decided to save as much money as I can by only buying one version of the archiving. Actually, I bought 2, because the other card is in a different section here. And for a lot of these, I was able to cross-trade, which was really nice. I was able to cross-trade some of my Geno collection, as I stopped collecting Geno. So yeah, with Golden Age, I don't doubt I can probably find the last inclusions that I need. I also still need 2 more of the collecting versions. I still need Xiaojun's, and I still need Jaemin's, I believe. I'm pretty sure I'm missing those 2 from the Golden Age collection, but we work on it slowly but surely. NCT aren't going anywhere. So yeah, that was it for NCT U. I put them at the front because it's just a lot easier to keep them all together, and it gives a good insight as to who else I collect. So then next we move into NCT 127. Now I know that Yuta was in the group from the original debut. Johnny joined in Limitless, and then Jungwoo joined in Regular, Regulate, Irregular, that era. So for older Yuta specifically, I did not collect Fire Truck for him. That hair was atrocious. I'm not collecting it. But I do have both his and Johnny's Cherry Bomb cards in a different part of this binder. And then that was when I started to collect fully for all 3 of my members. So yeah, their Cherry Bomb cards are just right here. Then we move into sticker, which this is where they got rid of the circle cards, thankfully, but they decided to do postcards instead. So for NCT, it's honestly not that hard to try and trade for or collect their bigger inclusions, so that's why I still do. As you can see with the medallions that they did from Favorite, plus the bookmarks, plus smaller postcards now. Now they actually fit in, I believe 4x6 is what they are. So yeah, with NCT, starting in the Two Baddies era was when I pretty much decided to just collect what I wanted. They had so many cards because they had decided to do an international and a Japanese and a Korean and then a standard, and I thought that was just way too much. So I collected what I wanted. I collected what photo cards I thought looked good. Same thing for Fact Check era. Instead of collecting all the versions of the album, I just collected 2 because one of the versions just looks exactly like the other ones, and I didn't honestly like the photo cards in the others, so I just collected 2. Plus these dumb little coasters that SM decided to do, which they move around a lot, hence the marks on the page if you can see that. Then we move into NCT Dream. So at the end of this collection, you'll see what Jeno cards I kept, but I did collect Jeno and Jisung originally, but then I dropped Jeno to collect Jaemin. So yeah, for this page, I had all of Jisung's older cards, plus the one card that Jaemin had. And then because Candy was a cover of an old song, I decided to put those up here. Yeah, I was kind of in denial about biasing Jaemin for sure. I definitely had him on my radar the entire time I stand NCT, but I just didn't want to admit that he was a bias because I knew that he was a popular member and everyone biases him, you know, but I genuinely love this boy. And my love for Jisung had stayed the same the entire time, so there was no question that I wanted to keep collecting him. And then this is going to be for the vending machine version once I finally get my hands on it. And then the drink stickers. And then this is my Jeno page of all of my favorite photo cards that I kept of him. These are all just regular dream cards. We Boom was my very first K-pop song that I listened to when I got back into K-pop, so I pulled his whole We Boom set. I wanted to keep it. And then I have his NCTU cards. This is the other card that I wanted for him to round out the page. And then we move on to Wavy. I wish there were more albums for Wavy because this is, you know, 6 albums. This is 6 albums of photo cards for Wavy. And I wish there were more. I really wish there were more because Wavy are an ultimate group of mine. So I collect Xiaojun and Hendery, and it's been fairly easy to collect them because I don't know why Wavy is an easy group to trade for. I don't get it, but I'm not complaining. So yeah, there aren't a lot of Wavy releases. The most recent being On My Youth, and this is an Apple Music card. I still need to find a trade for this Xiaojun, but yeah, I'm still trading, still working through it. And then I go into their merch stuff. So this was from the Our Home photo book. And then this is where we get into Season's Greetings plus the photo pack cards. I didn't get the full Wavy Season's Greetings for this one in particular. I only bought Xiaojun and Hendery sets because I found them on Mercari Japan for a really, really good price. So I thought, you know, why not? I'll buy the sets. This is a beautiful, beautiful photo book. Beautiful concept. So I really, really wanted it. But then I did buy their Season's Greetings for 2023. And so I got full member sets of everything. And I love these cards. Again, they ate with the concepts. They look absolutely amazing. All of them look good. Like, how could I not love that photo card? It is the best Xiaojun photo card I've ever seen in my life. So yeah, I kept all the members. I didn't sell off any of the other members. Because again, Wavy is an old group of mine, so it's very easy to love them. So yeah, that is it for the NCT binder. The only real change that I made besides dropping my Geno collection was how I set up my NCT U pages, which was just to reflect a better way of sorting the photo cards. The next binder that I have is my boy group binder. So I do have another binder that is pretty much just another miscellaneous amount of boys, except these boy groups are in what I would consider my semi-ult status. So they're not quite ultimates, but I still love them very, very deeply. Still thoroughly collect them. So I have a few groups in here. First, we start off with Elast. I love Elast. I have pretty much stanned them since they debuted. They debuted right before my birthday. So it was really, really nice to see them come out at this time. And I had known about them from Wonhyuk specifically being an 18e. So there was no reason for me not to get into them. I love their music. I love the boys themselves. They're fantastic. So the members that I do collect are Rano, Choein, and Wonhyuk himself. Now, collecting Elast has been a challenge because they are still on the Nugu side. They have a lot of supporters, but not a lot of people who buy the albums. So thankfully, I do have an IRL friend who also will buy their albums, and so that's really nice. This Roman card and then all of these Choein cards were from the Elast U unit that they did, and they're all fan-made, so they're not official cards, but they had posted photos that could have been photo cards, so I decided to join a group order that had someone making them. So yeah, Elast are pretty small when it comes to the fandom. There are some group order managers for here, and trying to find the cards isn't too hard if you're like looking to buy them on like Mercari Japan. I seem to have found a lot of pre-order benefits from there. So for Roar, I had bought enough albums to collect 4 members fully, and I was debating on whether or not to collect Baekhyun or Roman. I decided to collect Roman because I ended up pulling both of his cards. So yeah, I just have an extra Roman set in here because, again, why not? And then this was a set from Makestar. They were doing a thing where however many albums you bought, you would get 1 regular card and 1 holo card. I ended up getting the full member set, which was cool. 4 of them are holo, 4 of them are not. And thankfully, how they decided to send me the members looks really cool in a 4 pocket. So I will take that. And yeah, that is it for Elast. I did not get identification since identification came out during the boycott. I am not sure if I want to buy it. If I do buy it, I will probably purchase it from another seller rather than like a store, but we'll see where it goes. The next group that is in here is Ghost 9. I love Ghost 9 very much. I watched their debut music video 2 days after it came out. I have a big love for these boys that I will further explain. But to start off, these 2 photo cards are from the Teen Teen album, which was, I believe, just a project group that Maru did of the youngest members of Ghost 9, which at that time were Woojin, Taesung, and Jinwoo. But in terms of actual members of Ghost 9 that I collect Shin, Kangsung, Woojin, and Junsong. Those are my top 4 biases, which there were 9 of them, now there's 7, so now I bias, more than half the group. But for them, I try to collect as fully as possible as well. this is when they started to do pre-order benefits, and I used to get really lucky. I'm not as lucky anymore with finding trades as well as with purchasing pre-order benefits, so that might change in the future. But I do love their cards. I don't know what it is about Ghost 9 photo cards, but they just kind of eat. Also, this hair on Shin, perfect. Absolutely amazing. Like, Control is probably my favorite era for them. Like, favorite era for Ghost 9. And I was originally just going to collect Shin for this era because this was when they decided to do more than one photo card per album, or per member. But then I ended up pulling Woojin and Junsong, and I was like, I can't give them up. I just can't. I refuse. And then we go into X-Ray era, which is where they decided to do 4 photo cards per member. And I was only going to collect Shin since you got 1 card per album. But then I won a fan sign for them. I usually order 4 albums for Ghost 9 since I would collect 4 members. And so I was only going to collect Shins and bought enough albums to collect Shin. And I won a fan sign off of 4 albums. So X-Ray is a personal favorite of mine. So I decided to collect fully for all my members, plus this Junhyung, because I pulled him in one of the albums. Can't get rid of him. That is what I affectionately call the communal Dorito boyfriend. He's so lovable. You can't help but be in love with this man. So yeah, I collected as fully as I could. And, you know, it ended up turning out just fine. And then we move into Arcade O, and I am still working on it. I only bought 4 albums again, so I've traded most of the cards. There's still a couple of cards that I'm missing, so we're just gonna work on it the best that we can. I'm in a group chat now, so hopefully that'll help. The next group is Cravity. I have a thing for Starship boys, apparently. I don't know what it is. I like Starship groups. The members that I collect are Ubin, Taeyoung, and Jungmo. I love them dearly. I've seen them in concert. They're fantastic live. They are amazing live. I wish I could have seen Monsta X, and I kind of wish that I could see IVE. I don't think that Boyfriend ever toured in the States, and if so, they toured when I couldn't go to concerts as regularly as I could now. But I don't know, Cravity was great. And so I knew them from debut, but it didn't start like actually standing them until my turn came out. That was when I rediscovered who Woobin was, and I was like, oh my gosh, where have I been this whole time? Why have I not been paying attention to you? So yeah, this era was when they started to do unit cards, and oh my gosh, Starship, why? Just why? Why would you pull a Monsta X and do this? But for here, I only collected a line. So for Ubin, I got Maknae line. For Jungmo, I did Hyung line plus Woobin. And so that was what I did for a couple of eras, as you'll see. Yeah, collecting Cravity is also fun. I only ever buy one set for them because I found that buying Cravity cards is a lot easier than trading Cravity cards, which is unfortunate. And then starting a new wave was when they started to do digipacks or jewel cases. So I have Ubin's in the middle, and then I started to collect all the units that Ubin was in, because trying to do another 9 pocket with the 3 members, it's easier. It makes more sense in my brain. So yeah, that's where the Cravity collection starts to kind of change, but just to make it easier on myself. I, again, don't know what pre-order benefit I want here. The one that I actually wanted I figured out was a lucky draw set, so I was never going to be able to find the cards for a decent price, especially for Jungmo. Jungmo is super popular, not in the US, so he was going to be expensive for sure. And then we moved in to Sunseeker. I know that they just announced a new album. I'm still working on Sunseeker. Again, I recently had lost my job, so I could not like buy Sunseeker photo cards. But I'm working on the collection slowly but surely. Pokemarket is really good for Cravity. That's the good part. And then here are the tour photo cards from their Masterpiece Tour. And then we go into Hanbin. I do really like ZB1. I like their music. Melting Point was probably my favorite of the 2 albums they released so far, but Hanbin, man. I guess it's the Gemini in him because he's born the day after me, and most of my old biases are Geminis, or actually born within a week of me. So I, just collect Hanbin. That's it. I only ever buy Hanbin's digipacks. I don't buy actual ZB1 albums. I will buy the photo cards later. But yeah, there's something about him, man. I don't know. So I only have the couple of pages for him of his inclusions, and we'll see where this goes in the future with future albums. And then I have my singular Riize page. I also stan Riize. I love Riize. Mainly because if you were paying attention in the NCT collection, I did collect Sungchan. So standing Riize was an easy decision for me. I do love the music that they have released so far. I know that we should be getting an album, I believe in April-ish. I think the beginning of the second quarter is what I saw. But regardless, I collect 2 members, Sungchan, obviously, as well as Seunghan. I love him. I think he's just so adorable and so talented. And since they only have 1 real release that has photo cards with it, there's only the 1 page. But there is a development. I had mentioned in a previous video that I might be collecting a new group. That group is going to be all ours. I am indeed collecting them. How I'm collecting them is new. All Ours is going to be the first group that I am going to try and collect OT7 for entirely. Their album details honestly make it really easy to try and collect because they are including 4 photo cards in their albums. So you only need to buy a few sets to fully collect all the members. And I think that's what I'm gonna do. I have made a lot of my friends stan All Ours because I will not shut up about them. So hopefully one of the next videos that you will watch will be an All Ours unboxing. So yes, that is the end of my semi-old boy group binder. I have another boy group binder, but we'll get into that next actually. The next binder that I have is my BTS binder. I kid. It's just the BTS meal bag. I keep it in this binder. This binder actually is what I would consider my older boy groups. Not necessarily because all of the idols in here or groups in here are an older generation, but typically most of the idols in here are on the older side. Most of the idols that were in the previous binder are born in 2000 or later. Most of the idols in here are born 99 or before. Starting off with one of my ultimate biases and longest biases, Baekhyun. I collect Baekhyun's solo stuff. I do not collect his EXO stuff as extensively because trying to back collect for EXO is really hard. And so I decided to make it easy on myself and only collect Baekhyun's solo stuff. So this is kind of a mix between City Lights and his Japanese album, but I do collect him pretty fully for solo stuff. I know that he had just recently announced that he made his own company and that Xiumin and Chen are both under him, hoping for an EXO CBX comeback soon. if not a solo album by Baekhyun soon, because I am going crazy without music. I'm going crazy without new music for him, honestly. He slaps. His music, fantastic. I love this man. So yeah, Baekhyun Solo stuff was a pretty small section of this binder. One of the bigger sections would be OnlyOneOf. So for OnlyOneOf, when it came to most of their releases, I didn't collect one specific member. If I did, it would probably be Riize and Junji. Those are my top 2 biases. Maybe sprinkle in some Mill if I can finagle it. But for the sake of collecting, it was a lot easier to just keep what I collected for OnlyOneOf. There weren't really a lot of Lion that were trading, so I just kept what I could. My friend Lizzie actually purchased these 3 Riize photo cards for me, and I could not thank her more for that because I would never have them in my possession if it wasn't for her. So I did try to back collect as much as I could. I came into standing OnlyOneOf with Instinct Part 1, and I bought full member sets, plus their photo books. And these 2 are K-Town pre-order benefits that I got with purchasing Instinct Part 2. So yeah, here's for the Underground Idol series. This is a pre-order benefit of 9. My friend and I ordered together, and I really just wanted this card. It's so cute. I love that card. And then we have their Soul Collection photo card. So as you can see, I'm starting to collect Riize and Junji if I can. They do have another album that is out, but I haven't purchased it yet. I'm going to. That is my plan. I am going to. And I know that there are multiple photo cards for the members, so I don't know if they will fit on this page as well, but I will try. I will try. And then these are the photo cards from their light stick. This is the pre-order benefit that I got with it. My friend Lizzie and I were really, really lucky in that the 2 light sticks we ordered, the pre-order benefits we got were both our top biases. So she got Yoojung and I got Riize. I was absolutely thrilled. And then these postcards are from their 2022 calendar, plus postcards from Underground Idol. Alright, the next group in here is Omega X. Omega X, if you don't know, are a bunch of boys who used to be in groups that were no longer in groups, and now they're in a group together. So I collect 4 members of Omega X. Ignore the Yechan in the middle. I just pulled him. The actual members that I collect are Jaehyun, Huichan, Sebin, and Taedong. Those are my biases. This Yechan is from a photo book that they did. It was a photo card that was in there. I just kept him because I love Yechan. He is like honorary, he is a wrecker, essentially. So those were their tour cards as well as their debut showcase cards, I believe. Plus these postcards as well were from their debut showcase. Plus this postcard was also from that book that I pulled the Yechan photo card from. Then we get into actual album cards. For Omega X, I like to collect pre-order benefits. It's not 100% necessary. This Jungmoon and this Hyuk, I was never able to sell. I don't know why, because Makestar, and they're pretty, and they're in pretty blue outfits. But I decided to keep them because why not? So yeah, for Omega X, they did finally release a new album with If You Know, You Know. And I love it. And that was the latest release before Swim, A Story Written in Music. I had probably finished A Story Written in Music for a long time before If You Know You Know came out, which wasn't too hard to do because there were only a few photo cards per member plus the units, so... Oh, and these little bookmarks. These little bookmarks as well. But yeah, this is where I start with If You Know, You Know, and this page is the one that's mostly completed. I had originally bought 2 sets of the albums, but they got stolen. DHL didn't deliver them to my apartment door like I asked. They delivered them to my complex door, and therefore they were stolen. So my friend very graciously bought me a set, and I was able to pull the units that I wanted and then trade for Huichan. Then I believe the only other group that is in here is GOT7. GOT7 was one of my first K-pop groups that I ever was into. For GOT7, for their earlier stuff, I started collecting in 7 for 7 because that was the oldest album that you could easily purchase. It was the most readily available besides, you know, buying resale. So for their older stuff, I didn't collect a certain member, but my biases are Mark and Bam Bam, so later on you will see that I did try to collect them more thoroughly. But yeah, GOT7 were one of the first K-pop groups that I was ever into. I got into GOT7, I think right after A came out. So they had only had Girls, 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 and A. And then Die is when I got back into GOT7 after my K-pop hiatus because of college. So I collected Bam Bam and Mark more thoroughly, plus Youngjae, because if I had to collect a third member, it would be Youngjae. And then for their bigger inclusions, I did collect all the bigger inclusions for the rest of the members as well, because I had 5 albums with Die, so there was no reason for me not to collect the other 2 members as well. If I could finagle it, I always try to collect more rather than to sell off, because I'm gonna get my money's worth when it comes to collecting. I just wish there was a better way for me to store these how I want them to, you know? And then we move into the last album they had with JYP, which was the song Last Piece, Breath of Love, Last Piece. And I did collect an OT7 set because the Prism cards are so cute. I love them. They all look so good. This card evaded me for like almost 2 years. It wasn't even that it was like a bad price. I just couldn't find it. It just did not exist. I still want to go and get the rest of the, you know, bigger inclusions because I think I'm missing 1 Polaroid and 1 film strip. So I want to see if I can finish that. And then I go into solos. So for the solos, I only collect Bam Bam and Youngjae because I know that Mark has an album out, but I don't think it has any inclusions with it. So in terms of actually collecting, Youngjae and Bam Bam are the only ones that I actually collect. I still need to get Youngjae's newest release, but again, it's just a money thing and also a priority thing. I do have JB's because my friend really wanted to order it and she wanted to know if I wanted one. And I said, you know what, why not? I'll get the first release. Same thing for Yugyeom. I have Yugyeom's first release. And then I have the recent GOT7 album that they did with Warner Music Korea. And that is it. So I made a video on me moving Omega X into this binder, and that's really been the only change since then. This binder is a little bit smaller in terms of the inch that this binder is, but because it doesn't change much, that's why they're still in this smaller binder. The next binder that I have is my Only Girl Group binder. So this binder has a lot of my favorite girl groups in here. The first one being the only ultimate girl group I have, Purple Kiss. I love Purple Kiss. I have loved them since before they officially debuted. I named my car after Panzona. It's a whole thing. I think they are fantastic. So we start off with their Intro to Violet album. I collect Yuki and Swan. I do also collect an itty bitty bit of Ire when I can, but for the most part, these 2 are my main girlies. So yeah, most of the time they fit in an 8 pattern really nicely. But I will also always get my favorite Riize photo card as well to fill out the middle, because why not? I love Purple Kiss, I really do. I love their sound, I love their style. If I can manage it with pre-order cards, I will, as you can see. And same thing for having this June here. I had pulled both of her postcards, so I was like, you know what, I'll just keep her. I'll just keep her. So yeah, I can't say any more praise about Purple Kiss because they are just absolutely fantastic. I love them so much. They are so, so good. So, so amazing. And for Cabin Fever, I decided to get the full member for the Make Star cards, and since those were the Polka pre-order cards, I decided to collect full member for the Polka since there were only 2 cards per member, and I wanted a full member Make Star set, so it just made sense. It just made sense. And then for the bigger inclusions, I have both of Yuki's postcards, and I'm missing both the Swans. I'm gonna try to find them, I promise. Next album is Festa, and for Festa, I did actually have 3 of the photo books. So I decided to collect Riize here because I ended up pulling 2 of her cards, and I was like, I might as well get the 3rd. Might as well trade for the 3rd. And then for the Polka, I only collected my 2 members. And then this is Swan Solo. So I did collect Swan Solo as well. I actually got into a fan sign with Swan, and this photo card is the outfit that she was wearing for the fan sign. So 3 of these are the pre-order cards from said fan sign, and then the other 5 are from the actual album itself. And then this is the photo card set from their tour. I went and saw them on tour. They were fantastic. Have, again, nothing better to say about them. They were fantastic. Count how many times I've said fantastic in this video. The next group in this binder is Billlie. I really, really love Billlie. I think their sound is amazing. I think the girls are super funny, especially when I finally went on like an actual deep dive for Billlie. That is when I decided to change who I collected. I kept Moonsua because she's always going to be the top of my top, but I decided to add Suyeon to the bias list. So I only collect Moonsua and Suyeon. I decided to get rid of my Seun and Suki parts of my collection, but you know, that's okay. Trying to find Billlie cards isn't too hard. So that's nice. And these sets, actually, these full member sets are from Light Up K. I went to go see OnlyOneOf, and when I was in Toronto to see them, my friend and I ended up stopping at Light Up K, the K-pop store that's in Toronto. And when I bought some Billlie albums, the person at the register ended up giving me 3 full sets of Billlie cards because they had said that no one really buys Billlie, and so they had all these pre-order cards to give out. So I ended up getting a lot of full sets, which is fantastic. I ended up getting a dupe of, I believe this, Haruna, and so I don't have a Moonsua, which is totally fine. I'll be able to find it probably. But yeah, this was the last album they had before both Suyeon and Moonsua went on hiatus. So I do not have Dang. I do want it, and I'll probably just keep who I pull from it. But yeah, that is also on my radar of albums to get. Next we have IVE. I stated before, I love Starship groups. I really do. I don't know what it is about them. Starship, you're doing great with your groups. Just please keep them and treasure them, please. So for IVE, I do collect 2 members. I only have Gaul on this page because on the next page is Liz. I also collect Liz. I need to work on her collection more, but for the most part, I'm doing okay. So yeah, I also have this Riize card because when I bought I Am, there were 3 versions and they had all the members, and I would consider Riize my wrecker, so that's why I have her card there. And I ended up pulling both of my biases and my wrecker for the stickers, so decided to keep them in there. I do have 1 copy of their newest album, but I didn't pull either of my biases, and I'm still looking for a trade, and I need to buy the other 3 versions. So that is why I don't have a page set up for them yet, because it would just be empty. The next group in here is Everglow, and I actually had this part of my Everglow collection in a different binder, but considering I had other cards of them, I decided to put them back in here. I don't collect Everglow anymore. I used to collect them, and then I stopped collecting because it was pretty hard to try and find trades for. So if I would collect Everglow, I definitely would collect EU, Iran, and then if I could manage it, Aisha as well, as those are my top 3. But my friend ended up going to the Everglow tour, and she got me both of the tour photo packs that they had. So I ended up keeping them in this binder because, you know, trying to move all of the photo cards into like a 4-pocket or a 3-pocket, it was just going to take up so much space. And then I have another collection that I dropped. This is Pixy. I really, really do adore Pixy, and I love their sound. I was pretty sure that Addicted was going to be one of my top songs last year, and it wasn't. I was very surprised by that. However, the 2 members of Pixy that I biased, Ella and Sapyul, they both left the group. So after that, I just decided to stop collecting them. So if I did, that is who I would collect. But I only have the 2 pages of their albums. I do still have their albums. I did not get rid of their albums whatsoever, but if I ever pick them back up, they would be going back there. And lastly in this binder, I have my Twice collection. I mentioned in my last update video that I was dropping my Twice collection, and that is still true. I only have a few pages that are either my favorite photo cards, like in this page, or they're the full member sets that I worked hard to try and trade for. So yeah, that is why I still have them in here as well. So yeah, otherwise the rest of my Twice collection is still up for trade and sale. So yeah, that is it for my girl group binder. I have a lot of girl groups in here. Most of them I don't either collect for or I just keep what I pull for, so hence the binder is still pretty small. This is the last of my 9-pocket binders. This is a binder I call my slowest or retired binder. These have a lot of groups that either I will only collect certain releases for, their releases are very slow, I don't really collect a certain member from the group, or they pretty much don't do a whole lot anymore. So to start off this binder is Boyfriend. Like I said, I love Starship groups. Boyfriend was another one of my first K-pop groups along with GOT7. Trying to collect Boyfriend was pretty hard to do. But Boyfriend rebranded as BF once they left Starship and basically stayed together as a group. They don't really do too much. They still primarily promote in Japan. So I do have some of their releases. I do also have, I believe, their 11-year photo book. 11-year anniversary photo book is I think what it is, 10 or 11. So yeah, that's where these photo cards are from. And this Donghyun photo card, he just loves me. I don't know what it is, but I also have a signed Polaroid of him. So yeah. The next group we have is VIX, and I know that VIX is still technically alive. They still have releases, however, their latest release with Continuum only had 3 of the members out of the original 6. So I don't really collect VIX anymore because of it. I do have a lot of their older releases up until Udevix. So yeah, for them, I just kept what I pulled because trying to find VIX collectors is nearly impossible. I can't find Starlights anywhere. This page is just the Rose, primarily their older photocards. I wanted to collect the Rose in their newer albums once they established like their own company and their own brand, but I did find someone selling all of these photocards for $5 each from their previous albums that you can't get anymore, so I had to snatch them up, hence why I have the Rose page. The next group in here is Monsta X, and honestly, I could probably put Monsta X somewhere else, but when I stopped collecting Monsta X was actually the album that they stopped doing OT6 stuff because of military enlistments. So I tried to collect one photocard of Changyun and one photocard of Juhan because those are my two biases in Monsta X. And the thing is with Monsta X is that they have 4 albums per release. I only ever got 2. And so one of the versions I would try to get Changyun's card, one of the cards I would try to get Juhan for. So yeah, I stopped collecting Monsta X in No Limit, and No Limit was the last release they had before they started doing military enlistments. So it did kind of work out in a way. But I do also collect Changyun's solo stuff. I wish that I would have gotten the vinyl for Burn. I really, really, really wish I did, but I was not aware that that was happening, and so I missed out. Another group in here that I have is kind of mixed in a way. I have Super M, Taemin, and Ten's circle cards. So Super M, they're not really doing a whole lot. They did a teaser in 2023. Never happened. So cool. But Taemin and Ten are both in Super M, and since neither of them are either my biases or I don't collect them, I had 10 circle cards from their first 3 releases, so I wanted to keep them in here. Plus, I do have 2 of Taemin's albums. I have Never Gonna Dance Again Part 1 and 2. So I just kept the photo cards I pulled because I don't collect shiny. And then I have the postcards from Super 1. And then this is where it actually went into the members I collect. So if I did continue to collect Super M, one of them would be 10 because he was my original wavy bias. And the other one is obviously Baekhyun. Here's the spot where Froggy Baekhyun would be if I had him. So yeah. And then following Baekhyun was EXO. And I do want to get their newest release with cream soda, but I just haven't yet, and I think collecting for EXO going backwards is hard, but if I did, it would be Baekhyun and Sehun. Those are my 2 biases. So all I have is up to Don't Fight the Feeling, which I'm okay with. I'm not super pressed about trying to get the newest releases. It's not going to be an issue for me to find them, I don't think. I have Kingdom in here. Kingdom is still active. And I honestly have been debating on whether or not I want to continue collecting Kingdom. I have 4 of their albums, so I'm currently only missing 3, and I really want to complete the insignia that is created on the spine. But in terms of like photo cards, trying to collect Kingdom is kind of hard. There's not a lot of Kingmakers out there. If I did though, it would be Moojin. I love Moojin. If I also could, it would be Arthur, because I adore Arthur. That is my little boy. I love him so much. But yeah, Kingdom is just really small, so it's not super easy to collect them. Now, I have the separation here because the next 2 groups that are in this binder are groups that I don't really collect. I kind of do, kind of don't, only collect certain releases. The first being TXT. I have 2 of their albums because I loved the vibe of Chaos Chapter Freeze and Thursday's Child. So I have those two in here, but I don't really collect a member. I just keep what I pull. But it seems that Taehyun and Hee love me. So that's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. If I had to pick, it would be Taehyun and Yeonjun. Those would be the two that I collect. And then I have 17 in here. I do adore 17. I do like some of their music. I have always had a dream of collecting Seungkwan and June for an ode. I love an ode's photo cards. I think they are beautiful. I think the backs of them are beautiful. And, you know, I just haven't made that dream a reality because there are other things that are higher on my priority list. But for 17, I do have a few albums. I have one version of an ode. I have a couple of the Carrot versions of Face the Sun. And then I also have a couple of versions of FML. So yeah, that is it for this slow, small binder. The last 3 binders I will show you are my 4 pocket binders, which primarily hold other photo cards of my ultimate biases, plus photo cards of other biases I have that I did not want to sell off if I couldn't get a full set. Now, in my previous photo card video, I did also show a few other binders that included my Han-ji-sun D-Icon binder, as well as my Face the Sun Carrot versions and my FML Carrot version. I'm not going to show those because they don't change. That's just what I got. If you want to know what they are, it is the D-Icon from 2023 for Stray Kids. I got Han's cover. I have Seungkwan and Joshua for the Carrot versions of FML. And I have Oneus version for the FML Carrot version as well. Those are the only ones that I have. Will I get more of them? Probably not. I don't see a reason to keep getting other versions, but I do have a June that is on the way from a friend. We just haven't been able to meet up to trade yet, but whatever. So the first 4 pocket binder that I have is my Sun binder, and that has my top 3 biases. It says the Soho is in here. Soho's not in here anymore. But I have Han in here as the first one. He is my ultimate of all ultimates. I love this boy very deeply. Oh, it's an empty page. But yeah, I have a lot of his photo cards in here. Some of them are from Nancific, as you can see. Some of them are like Season's Greetings from previous years. So I keep all of those in here. His is very small because trying to trade or find Stray Kids merch is insanely expensive. Why are they expensive? I don't know. Don't ask me. Next is Yosang. He is my second ultimate bias. His I have a lot more of because I had a friend who had accidentally joined multiple group orders for the same version of the card. And so she ended up selling me a bunch of them. So yeah. I will say too that some cards in any of these 3 binders are not official. There are a lot of cards in here that are just nice cards. They are nice freebie cards or cards that I got from an event. Like this full page is just cards from an event that I went to. So if they're nice, then I do keep them in here because who doesn't love like freebie cards? And then lastly, I have Johnny in here. So I have some of his like older merch. So like this is his D-Icon from a couple years ago, actually. I don't know exactly when, but it was not this most recent one because this was the most recent one. And I ended up finding his full set for a really, really good price on Mercari Japan. So hence why I have it. And then I go into other pre-order benefits, other merch. This Sanrio set gives me so much life. This photo card set, this is my favorite Johnny photo card of all time. It really is. I think he's so adorable, and I scoured the internet to find it. And then when I said that NCT had too many releases for two baddies, I only collected Johnny's from there, so those are the rest of the Johnny photo cards. So yeah, that is it for the first of my ultimate binders. And here is the second. This is my Moon. So this has all my other ultimate biases that I do have photo cards for. I moved Soho in here because Yeosang was growing. Yeosang was growing, so I had to move Soho somewhere. I actually got all of these Blood Moon cards from one purchase, which was fantastic. But yeah, I haven't found other cards in bulk for him yet for a good price, so that's why it's just Blood Moon for the most part. And then we move into Xiaojun, and again, Xiaojun is going to be kind of small because Wavy, they don't really have a whole lot of like extra merch for, unless they do like full member, like full NCT merch. And then I have Yuki, and Yuki's is also kind of small because trying to find Purple Kiss is not too easy for pre-order cards. But I will say, this set of bunny cards is my prized possession. I love these bunny cards so much. Literally any group can do them, and I will probably want to buy them. Next, I have Ubin, and I probably have the most cards out of all the members of this binder because finding bulk Ubin cards is so easy to do. I think I probably got most of my cards either as like extra freebies, or like I bought a card when I was buying the rest of his photo cards, or I would find in bulk his pre-order cards on Mercari Japan. Plus just my little Wuka page, because it's so cute. And then I also have a couple of photo cards of Jaehyun, primarily when he had purple hair, because purple hair Jaehyun was everything to me. Most definitely. And then I have one little page of Shin. This is my favorite. These are my favorite cards of him, just in general. He just looks amazing. And then I have a page here for my selfie tickets for Elast. I did go to the Elast tour. I know, controversial, but given what happened to them, I don't think they're ever going to tour again. I am okay with that. I'm okay with keeping my selfie tickets because they didn't do selfies at mine, so yeah, that is it for all of my ultimate bias binders. The last binder that I have is the All My Stars binder. So all of my binders together say my sun, my moon, and all my stars. So this has all of my other biases in here that I don't have full sets for, or just didn't want to get rid of the pre-order cards. So yeah, I kind of went in group order from the bigger binders if I could. They're not entirely that way because this binder is getting a little bit thick, so I wanted to eliminate as many pages as I could. So a lot more of this binder is going to be double-sided. So that's why I try to keep everything in frame if I can. And again, some of these are not real cards. Like, these are not real cards. They're from an event that I went to. And I put Xikers on the back of Ateez because obviously. So yeah, these are merch cards or album cards that I did not want to get rid of. I did not want to get rid of this Shotaro. He is so cute. He is so cute. So. And I only bought one version of perfume. I still want to buy the rest, but until then, Jungwoo's just going to stay in there. So yeah, I do kind of like how miscellaneous this binder is because I don't really have any rules for it. There are no however many photo cards I want to keep in here. There's no, I will only get this many cards of this member. Like, if they fit, they fit. And if they fit on the backside, Like with P1 Harmony, they fit on the backside. So yeah. I will say that one of my favorite parts of this binder is my Moonbin section. I have a little double-sided tribute page to him, plus some bigger inclusions, just because. So yeah, that is it for all of my photocard binders. I actually shaved off a lot of time from when I last recorded this, so that's fantastic. I am excited to see how many collections I will finish this year. I have a lot of high hopes, and I have a lot of things I want to focus on in terms of my photocard collecting, so I will hopefully be able to accomplish everything in the future. So thank you for watching this video, thank you for coming to my channel, and I hope that we see a lot more finished collections in the future.